Hello and welcome to Breaking the Grid with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB, you're very, very welcome. Now this is part 5 and I do feel this is probably the very last part. As we've gone from taking our raw area where there was no settlements whatsoever, popped in what we thought would be the very first little houses and huts and shacks, seen how the dirt paths would evolve from that, and how the whole area would have evolved over, to say, the next 1,000 years into what you see here as a small town out here in the sticks. And I'm quite happy with the layout. Admittedly, yes, I know there's no buildings. The only buildings I've got in place here are a couple of dotted ones where the commercial hub would have been, or the high street. It'd been a tiny little wiggly little road high street, but that is kind of how it works. It's not necessarily the cleanest, best route through town for traffic. It is on the main route. This is the main corner. If you were here for the first time, first of all, go back and watch from part 1. You need to see this thing evolve. But our 3 village centres were here, where the footpath came up and around and out to here. There's a village centre down here, which, as you can see, connects there. And we have a third one which heads out to the village over here, which the path comes all the way around. It's obviously now a national road, and that would meet there as well. So this is where the trading post would be, or in this kind of area. So I figure that this little parade of streets here would have been the centre of the commercial area. Anyway, now we've ignored most of that. These shops would still be in this area. This is still the shopping hub around. I'd love the idea of walking around these streets. Remind me of let's see, trying to think of some towns local to me. There's beautiful Arundel, beautiful castle there. Not an ancient castle, but a beautiful castle. But yeah, the shopping streets there, trust me, aren't very friendly. They're pretty damn steep. But yes, yeah. So I'm thinking that there is, like I say, not the most efficient, but really lovely, really lovely. Anyway, what we have here is, this town is pretty much done. Over here, the Riverdale, what I'm thinking would happen here, as discussed in the last one, I feel this would have become a shipbuilding area. And this area over here would probably have become a large industrial hub based around building ships. Only problem that I see for it, and I'm not sure how it would connect up, is in terms of rail connections. We're going to need rail connection, okay? The rail connection for me is up this valley. We'll put the lines back on here. So, yeah, the rail could come in here. The station would be, I don't know, somewhere in this area here would be a station, I guess. And the rail would follow this line up all the way through this valley, carrying up through the valley here, and again still going up through the valley, and it's going to get to about this point here where the hills kick in, where we'd then have a rail tunnel coming in from about here, and the rail tunnel would emerge, very hard to say, maybe here, and then head off in this kind of route up and through the flatlands over here. So yes, I'm thinking that would be the route. Let's find me town again. Yeah, right. So back down to Riverdale. I'm on the wrong river, aren't I? I'm upside down. There we go. Upside down. I'm on the right river, but I was going the wrong way. So yes. So yeah, the railway station here, and then following up through the valley here, and then through a tunnel about here, and then heading up through the hills, through the fields there. That's how I feel the rail would be. Not too convenient for getting the rail, the goods across to the industrial area over here, all the iron and stuff that would be needed. But this is what playing a game like this would be all about, or specifically, some sort of transport game. We won't mention any, we're playing Cities game here. Anyway, so that is how I see that would have evolved. But let's go over to Valleyton over here, and as promised, extend out the housing over here. So There's not really much room over here to grow. We're in the valley. These hills are fairly steep, so we wouldn't really be building into them. Heading up here, this is quite undulating over here as well. Not too friendly for building. But up here, we have this little patch of housing going on up here. We also have this clearing over here. And I'm going to work on the assumption that this is prime land for building. Got one or two patches that aren't really suited, like we have a divot here, and a divot over here, and one over there. But most of the rest of it, I'm gonna say that this is relatively flat land, and we're going to assume that if I put a road through here, the house builders using modern techniques will be able to clean it up and build on a flat level surface. So how do we connect up? It'll have to be one of these two roads here. I'm hoping this one, because this one is the one with the direct connection out. So ideally this one. And we're going to need to connect it up with over here somewhere. Right, so I'm looking and I'm seeing this as the path. We've got the line of terrain down here. This is level all the way around to here. So I'm thinking, yeah, we can draw this road out and through and in. Let's grab that and we'll go with the freeform tool, and we are going at ground level. We're already elevated. Oops. And we'll just drag that down and around. Might need to demolish this road actually. Gets a bit closer. And through with a little bit of an embankment there. And yeah, I think we are now building I'm still trying to follow the line of terrain, so it's a relatively flat road, and we'll worry about everything else. Just working with the terrain to use that to actually shape our road to not be, again, just trying everything we can to avoid being a grid city. That comes around here, following the lines over there. Right, so that's one of our roads. Meanwhile, how else can we work this? Well, we've got a dead end road that can come in to here, and we've got a little bit of space over here. Meanwhile, over this side, I think we can have. Mind you, that is very steep there, isn't it? Or is it? No, it's not. This isn't steep at all. What are we talking about? I'm thinking we could build a road up into that area there. And probably... Oh, no, that is a bit hilly. I'm going to leave that. We won't be building. I'm still going to work with the terrain, even though I do feel that we can be a little bit more forgiving in terms of where we put the roads now. So there we go, into there, and coming down into that space here. Got a few cul-de-sacs coming off of this looped road around here. That's fine. Could spend a lot more time on making this perfect if we really wanted to. I don't really feel it's going to benefit this show too much if I do that. Now, we've got to avoid this. We've got to avoid this. And we want to avoid, yeah, those ones are serious divots. How are we going to avoid those and follow a... Well, this looks like a... Hello? How did that turn off? That's really weird. I'm having some weirdness coming on here. Why did the terrain turn off there? Game glitching. It's fine. I don't understand why that is happening. Never mind. Well, if we look at this, we can assume that we can do that. Right, how is that going to connect up? I think we'd have to cut through these trees here, you know. And now it stopped glitching. Now it stopped glitching out. That is very strange. Never mind. And that road comes all the way down into here. Is there... There's the possibility of coming... Ah, it's weird. I think it's just this area, you know. I think it's just one of those things where the game says, no, you can't build a road and see what terrain... Nah, it dips in too much. I'm just going to leave this area. It'd be a dog walker's park. It'd be a big park area or something over here, maybe. Okay, let's come back out of the bulldoze mode. My hotkeys aren't even working now. That's very strange. The game's having a funny moment. I might have to restart it. Meanwhile, if we have a look here, we've got the potential for a cul-de-sac going on there. And as I said before, I'm not too worried about the terrain glitching too much, because it's all modern housing. They can come in and they can level these areas out. So I think maybe just like loads of little cul-de-sacs around this area might be the way to go. Like such. And maybe that would just connect across, you know. Maybe that would have just connected across. Try that. Save having to drive all the way around the neighbourhood, wouldn't it? I think we get two little small cul-de-sacs backing into those trees there. One little cul-de-sac in here. And one final cul-de-sac in there. Then down here. Somewhere there. And then we've got a little space over here which we can work into. So again, working backwards. Like so. Maybe a separate little cul-de-sac like that. And one up into that area there. And one into here. And we have room to go a little bit mental down here. Why not? In fact, we could do a little dead end cul-de-sac there as well. Do you know what? I think we are nearly done. I think Valleyton's little extended housing estate is pretty much... Might even have had a bit of a little loop around there. I think that is pretty much how it would look. There's no direct connection back this way. I feel that there's a possibility that it might connect into this field area over here. There is kind of a natural connection up this way. Kind of. But I don't see why that would have naturally built in as a town. It doesn't make any sense for that to have built in a town. We've got a little area over here that there might be a little hamlets, just a little off National Road village, just something like that. And we'll do is a little little spikes coming off there, and maybe one coming in this direction here. Yeah, just something like that maybe would have sat in there, because that was ready to be worked. And this little area here, I did mention this area down here. Now, I don't feel that this would be a residential area at all. It's a long way from anything. This is a long way from fresh water. The power, if you've got gas mains or anything like that, It's a long way from any of that. But it is, this here is the main road out and off into whatever towns are out in the distance. So feeling here there'd be things like a service station, a gas station, petrol station, whichever phrase you want to use, and maybe some warehouses, small industrial units, that sort of stuff going on down here. So that's what I'm going to build here, is I'm going to build basing it on that. So what I'll do is I'll do a little that's symbolic of our petrol station services there. And then we'd have a little road, might have a couple of roads coming in here to be into a little industrial. And this might be a little bit gritty, because industrial roads they're more efficient, aren't they, in normal terms? So yeah, straightish lines aren't a big problem for me with within these industrials. So maybe that's going on there, and there might be one coming in from this direction which connects up over there awkwardly, somewhat awkwardly, and there might be a road coming up. And how about if we have a little block over here like that? That's not too bad. And we might even have a little dead end cul-de-sac coming into there. Would there be anything over this side? Well, probably, if we got those over that side. But let's say it's not going to be too extensive on this side. And possibly a what have I done? I've glitched it. I don't care, actually. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to be a perfectionist, because we are pretty much, I feel, at the point where we can say this is how I feel our with the exception of the expansion, an industrial expansion which will require the rail station. I'm not going to go into that. This isn't about rail stations and connectivity for industrial. This is about the shape of the cities, of the street plans, based on the terrain and natural boundaries. So we've got the coast, we've got the forests, we've got the natural boundaries of the fields that actually I put in myself, and then several centuries later have bought into those fields, saying no, this isn't farmland anymore, this is now residential. So bought into those. We have Valleyton over here, which it started off as just a little village over here, and it's expanded up into the hill like this, again using the natural terrain and the areas that were naturally cleared. Why would you want to clear a whole forest just to build housing? Some of this would have been cleared, obviously, with clearing of the logs to build the original village, but a lot of it is just natural. And that's it. I feel we have pretty much succeeded in what we wanted to do. We have, I feel, a pretty realistic vibe. Now, I know some of you are going to say, zone it, let it build up. Yeah, I could zone it, let it build up, but we don't actually have an outside. I removed all the outside connections, and honestly, I don't care enough, to be honest with you. What I care about was the shapes of the roads. Was it a grid city? No, we've naturally evolved into a fairly natural looking European style old town. Anyway, so that is it. Thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts, positive or negative. I can take it on the chin. I'm not a perfectionist, so that's fine. If you want to have a dig at me not being a perfectionist, that is good, because I'm not. Anyway, I'll be back Monday, no doubt, with some more What's Map. Thanks for everything, and I'll see you very, very soon.